It's pretty obvious why Liverpool is going for Arne Slot, isn't it? He plays a similar, intense and entertaining style. The aggressive pressing and counter-pressing, scoring goals from high turnovers, and he even likes to give young players a chance, assigning them big roles in the team. We went into who he is and his playing style in detail in our recent video, so make sure you do watch it to understand why he is the perfect fit. Now, targeting a similar managerial profile to Klopp is crucial for a smooth transition after the German, but does that mean nothing will change with Arne's arrival? Absolutely not. From the style of play to the possible departure of a star player, we're going to discuss the 5 big things that Arne Slot will probably change at Liverpool. And as always, we might have something controversial for you at the end. So do hit that like and subscribe button and let's get straight into it. Play style. We've talked about how Arne Slot's Feyenoord shares a lot of similarities with Liverpool's style of play, and this graph right here backs up everything we're saying. The strategies are nearly identical, but there's one key difference you can see on the screen. Yes, Feyenoord plays in a much less direct way than Liverpool and doesn't really rely as much on counter-attacks or what we call direct attacks. In fact, Feyenoord has only 61 direct attacks this season, ranking them 4th in their league for this tactic, compared to Liverpool's 81, which tops the Premier League. So despite the overall similarities, it's clear there's a distinct difference here, and this is exactly what Arne will focus on changing first, so listen up. The reason Liverpool's direct approach has been so successful over the years is because of their highly effective counter-pressing. The closer you regain possession to your opponent's goal, the higher your chance of scoring. But what happens when the counter-pressing fails? Well, you end up with results like the recent draw against Manchester United, the Europa League loss to Atalanta, and the heart-wrenching defeat to Everton. In these games, opponents either bunkered down in a low defensive block, man-marked the Liverpool players tightly, or simply refused to play out from the back, happily giving away possession. These tactics effectively neutralize Liverpool's ability to apply their signature gegenpress. After all, you can't press if the other team doesn't hold onto the ball. Typically, in these scenarios, players step up to make the difference. Over the years, Jurgen Klopp had depended on the individual brilliance of players like Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold to break through tough defenses. However, this season, over-reliance on individual talent has really hurt Liverpool's title aspirations. You can't expect players to consistently perform at their peak throughout the entire season. Take Dominic Szoboszlai, Mo Salah, Alexis McAllister, and even Darwin Núñez. They've had their moments this campaign and have been pivotal in winning games for Liverpool, but here's the problem. You see, individual players don't win championships. It's the system that does. Liverpool needs a new approach that maximizes every player's potential. A system doesn't lean so heavily on individuals and allows you to control the game, and that's the crucial word here, control. Even during their recent victories, the Reds have often lacked control in their gameplay. Why? It all comes back to the system. Their transitional style, while deadly effective at times, can turn into a double-edged sword against teams that are more than happy to let go of the ball. Given this lack of control this season, Arne Slot is set to introduce a more possession-orientated system. And we're not just saying this because he's known admirer of Pep Guardiola. It's actually reflected in the way Feyenoord plays. We've discussed how Arne likes to bait the press using his goalkeeper and defenders, how his teams play a slower, more intricate game compared to most Eredivisie teams, how Feyenoord can shift to a back 5 or even a 6 at times, and how his fluid positional play provides various solutions. So make sure to check out our deep dive for more insights on that one. This video is sponsored by Clothing. Clothing is a Liverpool clothing site owned by match-going fans. Each design is limited edition and is perfect to wear on a match day, on the terraces at Anfield, down your local, or cozy in the comfort of your own home. As stated, each design is limited edition, and if a product is showing out of stock, they will not be restocking the item, so if you have your eye on something, grab it fast. Lastly, Clothing wants fellow Reds to be 100% satisfied with their orders, so if there is a reason you're not happy, they will refund you with no questions asked. Head over to clothing.com or down into the link in the description to get all of your Liverpool merchandise. Anyway, let's get back into today's video. Injuries. The shift in the system could lead to another significant change, and you might find this hard to believe, but Arne Slot could actually change Liverpool's injury woes. Sounds ridiculous, right? Injuries are unpredictable. Well, let us explain. We've all seen that this season has been a nightmare for the Reds in terms of injuries. The same players who used to dive into every tackle with determination determination and fighting for every ball now seem wary and lacking passion, something we can trace back to the mid-season injury crisis. The impact wasn't immediate, players stepped up to fill the gaps left by injured teammates, but this was only a temporary fix. These replacements, like Connor Bradley, were eventually overused and succumbed to injuries themselves, and players who were out for extended periods such as Mo Salah and Dominic Szoboszlai are still struggling to return to peak form. It's evident that both mentally and physically the players are drained, a situation that again points back to the system used by the Reds. Why? Because the reoccurrence of muscle injuries, especially, has become a common theme under Klopp's system. Look at the numbers in the 2020-2021 campaign. Liverpool had 18 players sidelined with various injuries, leading to a lackluster season. In the previous 2022-2023 campaign, despite other issues, injuries were again a major hurdle, with 19 different players suffering, and this season, well, the count is at 19 again and still rising. This pattern highlights how crucial a systematic change could be, not just for improving play, but potentially reducing the frequency and severity of injuries. This ties back to the lack of control we mentioned earlier. Teams like Arsenal and Manchester City take a breather when they hold the ball, circulating possession and allowing their players to rest mid-game. In contrast, Liverpool's players are constantly on the lookout for that killer pass, or they're sending a long ball to pressure the opponent and win second balls. While this aggressive approach is the hallmark of Klopp's heavy metal football, it requires careful management. Here's where Arne Slot's possession-based style could make a real difference. It's true that his approach also involves intense pressing, but he knows how to implement a control-based system that can protect players from being consistently overrun, which takes a toll both physically and mentally. Slot's methods won't completely prevent injuries, that's an impossible task in football, but it could significantly reduce the abnormal injury rates Liverpool has seen over the year. By managing how and when to exert pressure, Arne could help maintain the squad's fitness and sharpness throughout the season. Set pieces. Now let's set aside the system talk for a moment, because there's something specific that Slot will not only change, but will also improve. But first we need to revisit the recent derby defeat against Everton. Yeah, we'd rather forget that match too, but it's important to discuss one aspect. Everton absolutely dominated the Reds during set pieces, which led directly to both of their goals. Digging into the stats, Liverpool had an expected goals against XGA from set plays of 11.1 and has conceded 9 goals. This isn't the worst in the league, but when you compare it to Arsenal's 5.92 XGA and City's 5.05 XGA from set plays, the gap is evident. But it's not just defending set pieces that is an issue for the Reds, it's also scoring from them. Liverpool has an XGA of 13.23 from set pieces, which they converted into 13 goals. The last one we can remember, barring Trent's direct free kick, was against Chelsea in the EFL Cup final. Meanwhile, Arsenal was overperformed with an XGA of 13.26, scoring 19 goals. Now, we know that comparing the Premier League to the Eredivisie, especially in terms of physicality, is tricky. But just hear us out for a second. Feyenoord leads their league in expected goals from set pieces with 17.46, although they've only scored 13 goals, underperforming their expected number. Defensively, they're also the best with just 4.09 XGA from set plays, and having conceded the second fewest goals from these situations, only 5 in total. If you're interested in a deeper analysis of Feyenoord's defense and attack set pieces, why not hit the like and subscribe button and let us know in the comment. We'll gladly dive deeper if you're interested. Recruitment. Let's shift our focus from on-field tactics to something that Arne Slot will change off of the pitch, and he'll do it by, well, doing nothing. Okay, we're half joking here, but let's break it down. Klopp had his most successful years working alongside Michael Edwards, thanks to Edwards' immaculate profiling and squad planning. However, after Edwards left, Klopp and his staff assumed more control over recruitment, and that's when things started to get a bit complicated. First off, Liverpool struggled to rejuvenate their midfield, continuing to rely on players like Henderson, Milner, Thiago and Keita, which contributed to the disastrous 2022-2023 season. Then there was the misprofiling of players. Consider Roberto Firmino, who excelled as a false 9. Klopp and Linders replaced him with Darwin Núñez, a player whose strengths are making runs behind defences rather than dropping deep and holding up play. Edwards, on the other hand, had pegged Christopher Nkunku as a more suitable successor to Firmino, a perfect fit. The missteps in player profiling are numerous, from Cody Gakpo to Luis Diaz. These players are undoubtedly talented, but were they the right fit for the Reds? Well, we'll let you decide. This poor squad planning and misprofiling of players were direct results of Klopp and his team taking on recruitment responsibilities. With Arne Slot, things are are set to change. Slot is known for being a team player who thrives under a structured environment. At Feyenoord, he worked hand in hand with the structure laid out by the club's current CEO, Dennis de Kloos. Not only did they bring the club back to the top, but they also got it out of its financial struggles through smart moves in the market. For the Reds, with the return of Recruitment Don Edwards, Slot won't have the final say in the transfers. Instead, he'll collaborate closely with the new structure to build a squad that fits his system perfectly. Mohamed Salah. Speaking of the new system, it inevitably means some players will be signed while others may need to depart. Now don't worry, we're not going to drop a controversial take like the one about Trent Alexander-Arnold in our Ruben Amorim video. Well, on second thought, this one might stir up a bit of debate too. We're talking about Mohamed Salah. Before you start booing, let's remember that Mo is undeniably a club legend for Liverpool. His goals, his trophies, it's been a privilege watching him wear the red shirt. But every story has its ending, and with Arne Slot's arrival, we might be witnessing the closing chapters of Salah's time at Anfield. Now, this isn't about tactics. In fact, Arne likes his wingers to cut inside and drive into central areas, which suits Salah's style. The real issue might actually be with Salah himself. Take a look at this graph showing his performances over the last 3 seasons. Notice anything. His offensive actions, carries and dribbles have gradually declined each season. These are physical demanding tasks, and the dip is likely due to his age and the toll of playing in Klopp's high intensity style for so many years. Arne's system will still demand aggressiveness, and Salah will need to maintain high physical performance levels both offensively and defensively. Feyenoord's wingers, for example, are required to counter-press, drop back to defend, and push forward with the ball. Consider the signs of decline. Can Salah continue to perform at this level? Sure, Arne might consider transitioning Salah into a more central role, perhaps as a number 10, in his 4-2-3-1 formation, but is that really where Salah shines best? There are many questions surrounding our Egyptian king, and with clubs from Saudi Arabia showing interest, we might see the end of Mo Salah's era at Liverpool. Now, we can't see the future, but these are predictions on how Arne Slot might transform Liverpool to propel the club forward. The playing style, the issues with free kicks, and recruitment are all areas Arne will likely impact, both directly and indirectly. As for Mo Salah, well, we'd like to hear what you think about his future. So what's your take? Should Arne introduce a more controlled play style? Are you curious about how his Feyenoord team's performance on set play stacks up against Liverpool's? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed our video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more Liverpool deep dives. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.